All right. Uh, so interviews are not a test and there are no right answers. Think of them as an opportunity to connect with people reading your application and share or emphasize what you think is important about yourself. The application, there's so many components to it, right? There's the essays, there's the letters of recommendations, there's your transcripts, there's um, uh, the various questions on the applications themselves. Um, the whole purpose of the application process is to really get to know you as a student and who you are. Especially smaller liberal arts colleges, what we're really trying to get at is who are we welcoming into our communities? Because that's exactly what we are. Colleges are often think of themselves as communities, and so the interviews are just another tool that we use to get some more information about you, to see what kind of a person you would be within our respective communities. And each college sort of approaches interviews a little bit differently. For the most part, they're pretty similar, and a lot of the information that you're going to hear today can be applied to really any college interview, not just Reed. But some colleges do have variations in the questions they ask, or the process in which they do interviews. And we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes as well. Um, but like I said, the interview process is really for us to get to know you a little bit better. We don't have you sitting next to us when we're looking at your applications, for us to ask you questions. So this is an opportunity for a two-way street of learning, right? Because it's not just us assessing you, but this is also your opportunity to assess the college and ask any questions that you have of the interviewer. Um, so why do we interview? So interviews allow prospective students to do multiple things. Demonstrate interest. So a lot of colleges measure what we call demonstrated interest. And this is basically how much interest have you displayed towards that college? Not all colleges measure demonstrated interest, but several do. And so there's multitude ways to do to show interest into a university. An interview is a great way. Applying early decision or early way. Attending virtual sessions or visiting the college, which I know is a little bit harder in COVID times, or sending an email to your college admissions counselors. These are all different ways to demonstrate interest in that university, and so this is one of those things that we measure. This is also a great way to demonstrate your qualifications. Sometimes it's just hard to talk about yourself all on paper, right? And the Common App and the Coalition App, these are great sources to apply to colleges, but sometimes they don't capture everything that you want to share with the reader. Sometimes something that might just come across um, as another thing on the application is something that you're extremely proud of. And so this is the opportunity for you to really show us those qualifications that you have in order to display yourself to that school as a potential fit for them. This is also an opportunity for you to show us your personality. Again, this is again how we get to know you. We're not going to ask you a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but we don't ask you trick questions. We're not. I think there's this common misconception that admissions counselors are looking for reasons to not accept you, and that's just not true. We are going to be some of your biggest advocates, and we really do want to get to know you. Oftentimes, we have these things called admissions committees, where after we read applications, we each present our caseload of students, literally one student at a time, and say, okay, well, here's student A. This is Benjamin, and here are the things that were on his application. Here are the activities he's done. Here's his grades. Blah blah blah. Oh, also, I had a great conversation with him during the interview, and he's really passionate about bird watching. And he's also an avid cross country person and loves to run. And these are the books that he really likes to read. So these are the kinds of conversations that we have on your behalf in these admissions committees. And so that's what these interviews allow us to do. And then lastly, they also allow us to fill in gaps and provide additional context in the application. I kind of mentioned about this at the start, but sometimes there are gaps and holes with the application process, right? It's hard to capture everything about you in in an application, and so this is just another opportunity for you to expand upon a specific thing that you want the person who's interviewing you to know, and it's an opportunity for you um, to really show off who you are, which is a hard skill set to master. But these interviews are usually a pretty conversational and relaxed setting to do that in.